Here?
Here.
I'm here.
Here. Here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry we're a little bit late. We had an executive session on a real estate matter. We'll open the public hearing in the matter of introductory local law number 4 of 1999, the 1999 Retirement Incentive Program.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
This is a program offered from time to time by the state. This law will allow, in certain situations, if there can be a demonstrated cost savings over a 2-year period to the municipality for retirement of employees. We have advocated that the Board of Trustees keep their options open by adopting this at this time, and we consider this as we proceed through the continuation this year. It would have to be adopted at this legislative session because it is required for adoption prior to the laws.
Thank you very much. So I understand you. What you're saying essentially is that while this is kind of an enabling legislation which would allow us to proceed should we decide we want to, but we will continue our negotiation and thinking about the topic.
Your description is very apropos, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Any questions from the board? First of all, we don't need any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Public hearing is closed. Administrative reports. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick update on the post office. Many people have been very concerned about where the post office is and how it's proceeding. It is a absolutely fine-looking facility in downtown. I did talk to the postmaster today, and there are always rumors when you have a building constructed that's not occupied, and we've heard many of them in the office, and perhaps you have as well. Really, the only question is one of technology and the review by the Hoboken office, which is the one that oversees this particular operation, and it takes a while to do those things. So while they have not yet set a specific time for their opening, you should rest assured that the building is of good quality. We're simply going through the details that are required through the federal system to make sure that it complies with every piece of machinery, computer hardware, fire ratings, etc. that are required. Mr. Alexi was unable to give me specific time to assure you that they're moving on schedule.
We don't know what
We don't know whose schedule.
is.
Whose schedule they're going by.
Depends what, depends what schedule you're using. They're using the slow one, they're on time. Very slow.
Of any of the problems, we don't know what the actual problems were in terms of remediation or.
They're more of a technical nature, and there's no substantive problems.
There's no dispute between the contractor, for example?
We had the pleasure of taking through most of the business ourselves. So just on that front, so you know, I would, Mr. Mayor, if we could, I would ask that the board would entertain the final scope on the Harvard Square project this evening. It was held 6 weeks ago. All the comments in. There's copies back on the corner there of the resolution. And it's an appropriate motion to make at this time, so we'd ask that you move that to the front of the agenda if you would, and add it to the agenda. The reason being that Mr. Terrence with us this evening would like to conserve his time and our cost as much as possible with these things, probably in reverse order. So if that's agreeable to the board, I'd ask that you entertain that at the legislative session this evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manager. I think that would be a good idea. As you know, the scoping session took place on June 24th. The comment period ended on July 6th. I believe we took in some that came a few days after, but basically July 6th. We received several weeks ago a document from the consultant which outlined the people who attended there, outlined all of the comments and the changes, the suggestions that were made to add to the scoping session. We now have a document which shows also all the changes, and it also has the initial report that we had in it. I think it is a very, very comprehensive document. I think it has just about anything you can think of in questions that need to be answered by the developer in the EIS. So I think at this point, there's no reason why we should not move forward with this resolution, which I will now read. Oh, actually, no, I apologize. I was just commenting on Mr. Shue. We have the police chief's report first. I apologize. No?
Just one short one. Wednesday night, there was a drug sweep, and on Thursday afternoon, there was a press conference where I got my 5 seconds of glory, I guess, on television. One thing that happened through there, what I stated, and I like to just state it because I know that it'll play a little longer on this television than it did on Channel 12 and Channel 7 and where else it appeared, was that it was a thank you to, number one, the citizens of Ossining and the police officers on the street, because that's where the information begins with. It ended with my face on television, but the beginning was from information that was gained, the police officers on the street passing it along to the detectives. The detectives then, in working with Westchester County undercovers, invested a large amount of money, not only time, but a large amount of money to the seizure of that kilo of cocaine. It's a united effort with the county. I thanked Lieutenant Sullivan from our department and his detective division, and Lieutenant Glenn Emerson of the Westchester County Narcotics Squad and his agency, which without their help, we can't do it. They have more assets to place on the street. Their budget is not bottomless, but the seizure money that was gained, their return is right off the bat. They prove how much money they spend. The money comes back to them so it can be used again for things that might happen out on the street. But the real thank you starts at the bottom, and it goes up to the 2 lieutenants that coordinated all the efforts and all the help that was gained from there.
Thank you very much. When you say thank the lieutenant, did we send a letter, or do you want us to send a letter of thanks, or?
It would be nice to get it from the mayor to send it over to the police commissioner. He did come in off vacation for the press release, and he blamed me for it, so.
Chief, yeah, certainly, job well done. Do we share in that seizure cost when the county
Yes,
takes a little?
it's a long pecking order. By the time it gets to us after court
crumbs.
proceedings and everything else, it's not going to be a very large amount. It was more than $6,000 in cash that the county invested in the seizures because of the buys and everything they had to set up with getting this large amount off the street. And then the county takes a part of it, the state takes a little part of it, the county takes part of it, and then we take our part. There are some cars that were seized, and we'll see if we can, what happens with
Cash
them.
also, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was $15,000 by cash, but $6,000 was the county's
Oh,
money.
yeah, I understand that. Well, nice job, every one of
Good
these,
investment.
every one of these, arrests, every one time we get a kilo of cocaine off the streets, it does help.
And they're still working.
Yes.
Still, as I said before, the investigation continues, and I don't lie.
I know that.
Done a good
Thank you
job.
very
We've
much.
had-
Pass our thanks down to Lieutenant Sullivan and our staff and our people, and certainly what you said is well said, that help from the community is something that we need on these cases. If any questions or any problems, something you see on the street, by all means, try to make contact with the police department. It can be done in a confidential way if you feel it's necessary, but certainly the communication between the public and the police department is what's can really help in ridding our community from the scourge of drugs. Thanks again, Chief. Anything else?
That's it.
Yes, sorry.
One thing I'd like to remind
Uh-huh.
we have with us this evening, as you know, North County News is now covering the area, and they have a new reporter, Martin, sorry, Martin, is with us this evening, so.
Welcome.
Yes.
We would also ask, at the end of your agenda, we'd like to include the public law itself, which was sent out in packages last year on the introductory law that we had a public hearing on, and we'll distribute those again.
Right. Okay, so the first resolution we're going to do is the added starter, so to speak, scoping session.
So pages
Okay. Resolution. Whereas the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees, the village, or the Board of Trustees, has adopted certain criteria for the redevelopment of the village waterfront as set forth in the Village of Ossining Main Street and Waterfront Plan prepared by Christopher Chadbourne and Associates, dated September 1994, as revised March 1995. The Village of Ossining Local Waterfront Revitalization Program adopted on July 2nd, 1991, and approved on July 11th, 1991, and the zoning law of the Village of Ossining revised December 1990, collectively the Waterfront Plan. And whereas the Waterfront Plan seeks to enhance public access to the waterfront, eliminate non-conforming uses, protect and encourage water-dependent uses, and promote the development of mixed-use residential and retail commercial uses on the waterfront. And whereas, in the furtherance of the objectives of the Waterfront Plan, the village issued a written request for proposals dated April 23rd, 1998, returnable on June 15th, 1998. And whereas the due date for the RFP was extended to July 7th, 1998, and thereafter to July 24th, 1998. And whereas several proposals were submitted to the village by developers interested in developing the waterfront plan, including Capelli Enterprises, Inc., Collins Enterprises, LLC, and Ginsberg Development, LLC. And whereas the village held numerous public comment periods and public forums to discuss and receive input regarding the various developer proposals, and whereas numerous written and oral submissions were made to the village regarding the said proposal, and whereas the village received and reviewed supplementary submissions from the respective developers through October 6th, 1998. Now, hang on. Now therefore be it resolved, or before we say that, whereas the Board of Trustees has received and reviewed the revised draft scope of work, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees adopts the revised draft scope of work as the final scope of work attached hereto and dated August 5th, 1999, and determines that it is consistent with the criteria set forth under 6 NYCRR section 617.8 parenthesis T. F, excuse me. The Board of Trustees further directs that the final scope of work be distributed to all involved and interested agencies, as well as any individual or organization that expresses an interest in writing to the Board concerning the scope of work and/or the project.
So moved. Second.
Any questions, first of all, from the Board? Any questions from the public? Mr. Debo.
Yeah, my first question is, why is it that you're going to vote to approve the scope of work without even having it filed with the town clerk? Obviously, there's no opportunity for any resident of this village to review it and decide if this scope of work corresponds to the questions put to this board in the scoping session on the 24th. It shows, demonstrates clearly the board is not interested whatsoever in what the residents of this village have to say. I read a draft copy of it for 30 seconds that I got at 2 minutes to 8. If I borrow, I can't have one to actually read while this goes on. And there are a number of questions that I asked that are not addressed in there at all. Also, the impact on school taxes as opposed to regular ordinary village taxes, property taxes are not addressed there specifically. Specific questions that were raised by a number of people at the scoping session are not addressed in there at all. And this is going to be the outline that's going to govern the scope of work that's going to be done subsequently. Why?
Well, we received a report from the consultant several weeks ago, which
I toiled for it, and I was told there's nothing, so why wasn't that given?
you filed for what?
I toiled for everything that had to do with the scoping session today, rather broad, but effective language. That's not effective.
Well, I don't know, that you'll have to take up with the town clerk, but, pardon me, yes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
Have any of it, that's fine.
in response to the comment, I think I should just possibly, as by way of background, remind some of the public speakers, scoping in New York State, first of all, it's not mandatory, it's optional. This board, I think, in the spirit that it has conducted this environmental review process, not only did a mandatory scoping, where it needed not have to, but held a full public scoping hearing. We also, I believe, received not only numerous public comments, but received an extensive amount of written comments. Under the statute, it's the obligation of the board to have reviewed those comments, which you did, to make what you feel is submit a final written scope to the project sponsor, and then what happens now, as set forth in the regulations, is that that scope gets circulated to all involved agencies, interested persons, and included in that package will be a description of those issues that were raised during the scoping and determined to be not relevant or not environmentally significant, or that have been adequately addressed in a prior environmental review. So the board has not only, I think, gone out of its way to hold the fullest public hearing on the scoping. In fact, not only there's no requirement, but typically once the board takes and reviews those comments, municipality, it's their obligation to issue their final scope. Typically, another public hearing is not held, but the board does have a responsibility to include, as I mentioned, those issues that were either not included and why they were not included, and that will be included in the package, a detailed explanation of every comment that was made by every speaker, whether it was included and why it was not included, and you will, as an interested member of the public, someone who did take the time to make a long presentation and had many of the comments, in fact, included in this, will receive that package, as well as all involved and interested agencies. I can only say that having done this now in dozens of municipalities, this is about as extensive an effort, and the package you will get, you will see, probably meets not only statutory standards, but far exceeds what most municipalities do as a scoping.
Yeah, I disagree with that to the extent that one, in Scarsdale, where they're doing this project about 1/30 of the size of this, they're having a referendum. Instead of hiding behind the law, it's not required to disclose to people that there's going to be a meeting in the fullest fashion possible so they can come comment about it. They actually vote on whether or not to have the project. Our board doesn't think that that's what we're doing. Most of the people who live here do. The fact that they're complying with the statute strictly, which I'm not sure of, this is your field, not mine, doesn't really do very much in terms of showing that they intend to have the village's input, that they care about what the village wants at the waterfront, and also, I guess, end up happening at the end of this. I have a couple more questions. Can I ask them?
Surely.
First question is really, what is the purpose of this hearing then? I mean, if essentially, if the documents that you're voting on aren't available to the public, even at the meeting, what's the purpose of having a meeting, or having a hearing?
There's no hearing,
Not a
because there's a
hearing.
resolution.
It's a resolution by the board.
Why is your public comment at all then on something that,
Well, we always allow public comment, Mr. DeBar, as you know, on resolutions.
yeah, okay. How about if people had an opportunity to review the material that you're going to vote on before this comment period?
You have an opportunity to react to it in any way you
I
see
haven't
fit.
had a chance to read it.
I said you'll have an opportunity to react to it any way you see fit.
Without having, what am I reacting to?
You have
There's
it.
no document,
You will have it, and you can look at it and decide whether.
and it will be adopted tonight. So what effect will my comments have at that point? In other words, what's the purpose of having the comments?
When we submit it to the other agencies, is there a possibility that
No, this
it can be changed, or just an
the
advisory?
secret is not an indefinite process. It's a process that has an opportunity for written comment at many stages, has an opportunity for oral comment, which you did. Mrs. DeBar will, as many of the public, once the DEIS prepared, have another opportunity to review the issues, give extensive comment on detail. No, on the scoping, it's not an indefinite process. It was a public hearing held. They made extensive comments to the scoping, and, can I finish, please?
Yes.
And now it's their responsibility as the legislators to make a decision and to move the process along. And that's not only spelled out in the statute, it's how it works. Indeed, the subject you've mentioned in Scarsdale, which I've been involved in, the only reason they're having a referendum is there is a major investment
You're gonna say a
by
bond issue.
Scarsdale in the project. That's what they're referending, whether they should put up a bond. That's not even the fact here. Here, the developer is paying the money.
Looking at the bond applications and the grant applications that are being made, the grant applications by the village, there's going to
additional bonding contemplated by the village for this project.
I didn't mean
And there's
bonding, I
all
meant grants.
grants. Well,
You know what,
grants are
you know what,
grants.
I'm sorry, this really, you know, you're gonna have an opportunity,
We already
Mr.
had a
DeBar.
bond issue, which was, we had public hearings on, and the opportunity was.
Grants. I apologize.
Okay.
I said bonds, I meant grants. It's going to be substantial.
Well, you've been
amount of
saying that
money
right
invested
along.
by
You've
the
been saying to the public that this project is gonna cost millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, so far, the matching
Well-
funds are gonna be better than $1 million
Well,
already.
what
That
I'm,
you would get
what
assuming
you're,
you get the grants.
what you haven't done is given any details or facts as to what the actual costs are, because there are very few additional to what we already know.
Really.
Yes.
Well, what you know and
Very
what the
happy
rest
to tell
of the
you.
community knows may be two different things. That's not my fault.
So pay attention a little better, and maybe you'll
Oh,
know.
yeah, I do. If I have to boil for things, how much more attention can I pay?
Well, as I said, we had this process, the open process, we had the scoping session, we didn't have to have.
At the scoping session, half the people that were at that scoping session came up to me and said, if I didn't see your letter in the paper yesterday, I wouldn't have known this was happening today.
Well,
What was
you
that?
commented it was on GoTV ahead of time, so you're in error. It was in the newspaper, there was a story in the newspaper, and,
No.
well, there was, I can't help it if you don't read the local newspaper.
More questions. And just in the preamble to this resolution, it makes reference to the fact that the village has adopted certain criteria for development of the project, et cetera, and cites, recites the Chadbourne study, local waterfront revitalization program, and zoning law, village bonds have been revised December 90. Now, as a matter of fact, this project, unless you amend the zoning law, doesn't comply with the existing zoning law that was adopted in December 1990. Isn't that true?
One of the actions under the project is an examination and a potential revision of zoning law. You're absolutely correct.
Right, so it doesn't comply with the existing zoning law.
It was fully disclosed, Mrs. DeBar, in the application. It was fully disclosed in the scoping,
I know that.
and it will be fully disclosed in DIS, and you will have a full opportunity on a public hearing on the zoning law. You'll have a full opportunity of public hearing on the draft environmental impact statement. You will have a full opportunity.
The big board on GoTV can come, like, people are encouraged to come to different community events, that this is going to occur in 2 weeks and next week, so people will have an opportunity to schedule the time to come.
We gave out 2,000 flyers on this project, on that meeting also. I gave out some of them myself, so I don't know what you're talking about. As usual, you're, exaggerating or fabricating.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I would love, if any of you guys want to debate this sometime with all the documents, I'm glad to do it any place. Any.
You have to, when you have a debate, you have to have two people who have the facts. And
Yeah, actually, I
clearly,
can
Mr.
stop
DeBaradinis,
and say for a living, so I
clearly,
know I
Mr.
can.
DeBaradinis, I don't think you do have the facts, and therefore I wouldn't come down to debate you. And if you did, and if we did have them, you try to distort them anyway.
Well, yeah, I would. Well, first,
Good to hear
one of
you.
the facts I would like is, could I have a copy of this item that's being dealt with tonight while we're here, so I can read it and have an opportunity to comment on it? How about those facts? Have you read it?
Yes, I have. Mine's at home.
Thanks. How long have you had it?
I didn't time it.
Did you have it yesterday?
Maybe.
Did you have it Friday?
No.
Did you have it Sunday?
I'm not going to engage in debate with you, Mr. DeBaradinis. It's your forte, not mine.
I have no more questions.
Anyone else have any questions? Oh, I'm sorry.
You're gonna do it today.
What did you say?
I have to kind of agree
Has to
with
move
something
slow.
Oh.
Bob said earlier. When we came to the scoping session, we were told that they were just taking some things that the audience, people wanted included. Now, everybody left there with the understanding that there was going to be another time when they could come back and make comments on it.
No, what there will be is based on the presentations and the questions that were raised as part of the environmental process. Now, all of which, if you look at this thing, it's so comprehensive. It asks about everything you can think of. I hope it's pretty comprehensive. And now they have to go back and answer all the questions and come up with scenarios, or including it in the process, which would also be another, at least one, probably several public hearings on the EIS, on the EEIS, and it'll be. We have other opportunities to look at what we presented. Now, what you're what he was saying was that, I mean, again,
The way I took it was that everybody was gonna get some input that night, and they were gonna get together
right,
and put together what they were gonna actually present to be the scoping frame that they were gonna go in. Once they got that developed, then the public was gonna get to, be able to know exactly what was gonna be the criteria for doing the scoping. I thought that's what that was.
right, you will. We'll have a copy for you.
But they don't have any chance to bring input now because we're voting on the resolution tonight. And I think that's what we were saying, is that we thought that, see, once the village said to us, we're going to inclusion and we're going to get your input, then I think that you yourself gave an obligation to us and said, we're going to listen to you when we get ready to go forward. And because you can have some statutory laws that you don't have to, I think that you acted for people come in and get involved. So now at least if you're going to go forward, to at least let them see what the final scoping is going to be.
Well, we will let you see it, obviously. What you're saying is before we vote on it.
Before you vote on it,
Well,
because then they won't have a chance to have input.
You know, it's a secret. An environmental view is a balancing process. There's a certain amount of obligations you have to the applicant to move the process along. And in fact, the statute provides that this board, in 60 days of receiving a draft scope of work, has to provide the applicant with a final scope of work. So in fact, that 60 days is terminated. But the applicant, I think in his patience, has said, look, you know, take time. And the reason it's taken so long is we had so many comments, and we did so many, the board did so many reviews of the scope to make sure we addressed the comments, and we read all the comments, that we've used up that 60 days now. And so, in one respect, you know, the secret provides that you want to get the fullest amount of public input. But there's also a balancing act that's fair to the applicant, and is in the statute and is law, that we've got to keep the process moving along. And so we've now had the draft scope for over 60 days. We've made extensive comments, and I think when you see it, you'll agree that almost all the issues that were stated were incorporated, and those that are not, there's a full explanation in the package you'll get why it was not. Now it's time to move towards really the meat of the secret process, which the applicant is going to provide us with detailed, full analyses of all these issues. And then at some point, we're going to provide the public with a draft of that document. You're going to have at least 20 days to review that document, and a full opportunity to have a public hearing stating what issues you don't think were adequately addressed, if any, as well as an opportunity to submit additional written comments with respect to any issues you don't think were adequately addressed. Then the applicant has to go back, answer every question that was raised about the issue. We'll include new data, and we will have another public hearing where the public will then get a draft final environmental impact statement, and they'll get an opportunity again to decide and to determine whether they answered all the questions. Then we will have another public hearing on the final adoption of the EIS. Then we will have another public hearing on any amendments to the zoning, and we'll have probably one or two other public hearings on other related issues. So there's a balancing act, and I understand we owe it to the applicant, not only by equity but by law, to move the process along. But I can assure you, as you're stating, you're going to have numerous opportunities, and frankly, I think you, as much as we want to get past this stage and start really seeing the data, you know, seeing the visuals, seeing the analysis about potential displacement, seeing the park issues that were raised, Killbrook, water quality, zoning, parking, traffic, you know, all the issues that were raised during the scoping, and really sink our teeth and really decide what are the impacts, and decide whether you think they were adequately addressed.
But the other answer to the question is all the question that people had at that
but at some point in the process, the board has to make a decision. It got an extensive amount of input, and they have to move on. Not every issue is going to be quote-unquote correctable. Everyone's going to have their viewpoints. There are going to be people who agree, disagree, but I think you'll find when you do receive it that it really is a extremely broad, comprehensive, and again, by law, the board doesn't have the discretion in this particular area. By law, we have to move on. We took extensive input, and we have to move on by law.
The only reason I had a problem with that is because we had a meeting with the contract for the water company over, and at that meeting, I had asked that instead of purchasing the affordable unit to the village employees, if we do that to the village residents, because we have people living in substandard housing that probably need it more than the village employees. I think that would indicate, all right, that was something we want to look at, and then we get the contract. I haven't heard anything since, about that. So I like to, before we go and dot the i's and cross the t's, to know that the citizens that live in the village want this development over. There's much stuff or something they don't want.
We're a long way from dotting the i's and crossing the t's in this project.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Mr. Zarin, do I understand you correctly? You said to Mr. Debar that since he was one of the individuals who made comments, that he would receive a copy of the packet that's going. Will all the folks who made comments, or was it just because there were extensive comments?
No, any involved agencies or individuals that expressed an interest should receive a copy of this
Basically, any
package.
names that are on that list that will
Correct.
follow this.
Correct.
finished
All
document.
the names, the package will be sent to everyone, including the revised scope, redlined, so people can see exactly what was added, as well as the document that you all received describing every comment, where it's included in the scope, and those that were already addressed, or some that weren't included. So, again, everyone will receive a comprehensive package.
Thank you.
Is it true that in that package you just described, the last document you just described, that when comments are made, if there are the redundancies included, or was it just one person or four persons asked the same question?
The document will show where that question or that issue was already addressed in the scoping, as well as will show where we've added new language.
Now, I understand one of them.
Sure.
If you're going to adopt the task resolution with public meetings, do you have to, I don't know, do we have to see the document in the past? I mean, if you think it's well with the document to be used, I don't know, I'm just curious, that, do you understand what I'm saying?
We have the resolution. We have a copy of the resolution.
On a document that's
Right.
going to be used in a sequence.
Correct. The board has copies of it. They've reviewed it, and they will be sending it out to everyone pursuant to Section 617.8F of the New York State Environmental Review Law.
But if this is a public meeting, public input, do we have a
I don't think it's required.
Is it required, Mr. Barnes? Is it required that we have copies of the
Document available to
Document
the
that
public
we're-
prior to adoption.
It's a decision that the board has to make. The public is invited to participate in that decision. We made the comments, the board has considered the comments, we've had the document. I don't have a problem with showing it to somebody, but the circulation all over the place is rather expensive. We do have queries, comments that shows that every person who has helped and contributed to the meeting, their comments are included, that indicates where they appear, and satisfy the way.
Okay.
Mr. Navarro wants a copy of it.
Oh, yeah, anyone. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Mr. Cowan.
I'm not representing if I think the questions I put as part of the voting process were, when I first got here, with the process that was first outlined 6 months ago?
No, we're a little behind schedule.
Okay. The second question is, when can we expect the result of this scoping?
I'm sorry, excuse me?
When can we expect the packet?
We'll be duplicating them tomorrow and get them out right away.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Oh, we need a roll call on that, Mrs. Busey? No.
Just the business meetings.
Sure. Moving right along. Item A, approval of the minutes of the August 3rd, 1999 regular meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Item B, thank you, Mr. Zarin. Approval of the minutes of the August 10th, 1999 special meeting. Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby approves the minutes of the August 10th, 1999 special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is
Abstain.
carried. Voucher detail. Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby approves the voucher detail dated August 17th, 1999 in the amount of $328,462.89.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from the board? This includes one handwrite. Shall I repeat? Okay. Any questions from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Item D, public hearing, Ossining Trust Building Special Permit. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby calls for a public hearing on Tuesday, September 7th, 1999 at 8 p.m. in the municipal building in the matter of the application of Frank Rancanelli, 63 Main Street, Dobbs Ferry, New York, 10522, for a special use permit pursuant to Section 270-18C, formerly Section 3.10.1.3 of the zoning law of the Village of Austin, to allow apartments in the building known as the Ossining Trust Building at 130.
Downtown area, including the bank building, not opposed to bank building, including the bank building, the street scene adjacent to it, all of that has to be included in the careful reevaluation. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a good thing.
Well, I think our vision plan that we worked out and are using, for example, the burned out buildings, as you know, is moving forward. I think the police station at the other end will help. There's some other, as you know, in the old Florist, we're having to have a restaurant there. Where Arminda's was, there's going to be another business moving in there. I think, plus the post office and everything, I think the downtown is, as we predicted, is having a life of its own in terms of real estate. And I think in terms of the EIS in discussing any problems that might come from that, we need to do, and we will do, as we said we will, in terms of gentrification or whatever else, however else you want to describe it. So certainly we'll work through that. We have to work through it. And I think the proposal of the downtown now actually is the fact that there were drug arrests and the fact that we're serious about cleaning up the downtown. We have many other ways in which we have to move forward in terms of some quality of life issues. But I think that we've certainly got a very good start, and actually that this building is a real major piece of the puzzle, and will really help it. You know, and we thought we were going to lose the building a year ago. Believe me.
I think that the new people who bought Rudy's
Yeah.
are coming in with a permit request for apartments upstairs. They're putting a pizza, let me see the size right, an Italian
Pizza
place?
and grill.
Pizza and grill down in the corner building, the corner store right next to Rudy's. And they're going to be coming in for a permit also. That changed ownership very recently. So obviously the owners of the building aren't concerned at this point about going ahead and spending money with their tenant being Rudy's.
And Rudy's will be there, I guess, for at least a year. Because of it, whatever. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Item E, permit awning pirouette dancewear. Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby approves the application of Pirouette Dancewear, 2325 Spring Street, Austin, New York, for an awning permit in accordance with the application dated August 3rd, 1999. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We considered this at our work session. Any questions? Any questions from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Item F, Police Department Contract Metro Communications,
Metrocom.
Metrocom. excuse me.
Metrocom North.
Metrocom North? Metrocom North, NO, okay. Metrocom North Communications Center, Spring Street, Police Station. Resolve the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby authorizes the village manager to enter into a contract with Metrocom North, 31 Plainfield Avenue, Bedford, New York, in the amount of $226,830 for a communications center at the Spring Street Police Station.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Item G, Police Department Contract, Telog Digital Logging Recorder. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby authorizes the village manager into a contract with Telog 950 Yale Avenue, Suite 1920, Wallingford, Connecticut, for the purchase of a digital logging recorder in a 5-year service contract in amount not to exceed $32,566.
So moved.
Second.
Second? Chief, just briefly.
This is a, this was in the, or is in the 99 budget for purchasing. It's a digital recorder that tracks phone calls in and out, radio messages. It's to replace a unit that's about 7 years old right now. And the way that the resolution was worded in the amount not to exceed is that I'm still negotiating with the company to get a little bit lower than the 32,000. There's a couple things in there I want to just refine a little bit with them. But the top amount is 32,566. I think I'll be able to drop about 1,000 off that. But I just didn't want to put it in a resolution as that penny amount and then have to come back to refine it, but that's what it is.
And I might point out that the budgetary, the capital budget was 35,000, wasn't it?
Yes, we scoped it out at 35,000.
And just for public's edification, this is all equipment that will be moved from here to the new headquarters.
Yes, actually the machine that we're working on right now we don't think will match up to the Y2K, so we will have to install it in here. It won't be at a 100% functioning. All the phone lines, all the tie lines are right there in my office. We'll be hooking it up to that and hooking it up to my computer. When we get to the new facility, we'll have to hook it up to the new phone lines, and then the other computers that we will have licensed will be then put online.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the public? Yes.
January 1, 2000.
We're moving along.
Maybe
Looks
before the
good.
post office.
Are there-
Might beat the post office.
Yeah.
I've had
Please,
that,
Lord. Please,
I've
Lord.
had that conversation with a couple of the fellows at the post office, that
Beating the
we're gonna
post
be the
office?
police, yes, we're gonna be the police station before they're in the post office.
Should we put a mailbox up front?
It was pointed out to me that post offices were built sometimes and actually
Just
finished
so the
and weren't
board know-
occupied for 2 or 3 years.
Just so the board realizes that the communications center that is, there should be one more RFP that Mr. Barnes and I are working on, and that's for the telephone communications part of the building, and I think that's about the last piece of the puzzle that we have to put together.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Item H, something close, Mr. Smith's heart.
Yes.
Event Market Square, NAACP Membership Drive, Village co-sponsor. Resolved, the Board of Trustees will co-sponsor an NAACP event at Market Square for the purpose of an NAACP membership drive. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any questions from the board?
Yes, two. I thought we discussed this at work session, that it was FIST membership, and we also do not have a date.
Yeah, where's the date?
Who's the date, Mr. Chu?
Or
August 29th.
August 29th? That was.
But was I correct, this was supposed to be a FIST function?
No, it's nothing to do with FIST.
Well, we were presented to
That's
us
what we were
as a-
presented,
as a
but
I know, but
mutual
it was an error on, miscommunication, because it was, I pointed out that night that it was NAACP.
Application out with Laura, it was filled out with NAACP.
Right.
I don't know if you would have talked to somebody, they always get involved, but when I did the application for
Right, but, and the junior NAACP is separate from FIST anyway, right?
are they separate? No,
Yeah.
they're not separate yet because they have to get their charter, they're still waiting on.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Yes.
Sure.
It was from 11 to 9 o'clock on that.
11 a.m. to 9 p.m. No. Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Item I, Fire Department appointment, Frank Jarrett, Senate Hook and Ladder. Whereas Frank Jarrett, 16 Maryland Road, Peaksville, New York, was elected to membership in Senate Hook and Ladder Company Number 1 in July 1999. Whereas on July 9th, 1999, Dr. Thomas Arminio approved Frank Jarrett for exterior firefighting only. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby appoints Frank Jarrett to the Ossining Volunteer Fire Department Senate Hook and Ladder Company Number 1. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
I just have,
Oh,
I just
question.
have one question.
Go ahead.
Question, clarification. Peekskill resident, and maybe it's just new for me. Peekskill resident.
Works in the village?
He works in the village.
Works in the village?
It's live or work.
We both have the same question.
Point of clarification.
You're welcome. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item J, in support of grant application, Calvary Baptist Church. Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby supports the grant application of Calvary Baptist Church to the New York State Environmental Bond Act program for restoration of glass windows, structural repairs of trusses, basement, and restoration of the rear wall and exterior works at 4 St. Paul's Place, Ossining, New York.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Shu, you want to just briefly?
These are applications that the churches are coming forward with in order to restore some of their vitality in the community. And in this particular grant, you'll notice in your package, perhaps there were letters of support for these. What we discovered through the staff was help is that they also need to be competitive for these resolutions from the council as well. And so we've asked for the support of these, whether it's sort of particular to the place that these churches have.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Item K, in support of grant application, First Baptist Church. Now we've been approved. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby supports the grant application of the First Baptist Church of New York State Environmental Bond Act program for restoration of glass windows and a new roof at 1 Church Street, Austin, New York, 10562.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
We got 3.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Item L, village property, Harbor Square, project final scope of work.
We did that.
We did that already. Yes.
We've been there.
Been there, done that.
Not again.
Ah, yes. Introductory local, we had a hearing 2 weeks ago on introductory local law number 4, tonight rather, I beg your pardon, for the retirement incentive program. The motion reads, a local law amending chapter 46 of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Ossining, entitled Retirement Incentives Program, by adding a new article 4 thereto, entitled 1999 Eligible Employees with a Retirement Incentive Program authorized by Chapter 70 Laws of 1999. Being enacted by the Board of Trustees as follows. That's adopting this local law. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. We already explained it earlier. That was this. What is this here now? Sorry. Ah. We will we're announcing that we're calling for a special executive session of the village board on Thursday at 7 p.m. at the New York State Armory. This meeting will be to discuss real estate, and we will go to open session thereafter. Will not, I beg your pardon, will not go into open session thereafter.
Thursday?
Well, I could just scribble a sheet here. You want to read it?
Gee, just took a
Do we need a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, anything under old business? No? Okay. Anything under new business from the board? Okay. Recognition of visitors. Anyone here wish the privilege of the floor? Mr. Smith.
On behalf of the youth, members of the NACP, I want to thank the board for the support they're doing. As you know, they went to a convention, the national convention in the city, and when they saw what they saw and saw how strong the organization was, they came back with a commitment to develop an option plan and to be strong. One of the ways they plan on, one of the things included is start this commitment was to put on a membership drive, a fundraiser. So I noticed they're looking forward to the sponsors being there on the 29th and supporting them. I know Tom has always been supportive and all the other board members. So we invite you now to come down and be a part of the fundraiser.
There's the 29th.
Saturday.
Saturday?
Saturday,
No, you gave it, I just didn't know what day the 29th was.
Is
I
this
thought it
Saturday.
was Saturday.
Good. And I have a couple of questions I want to ask. Do we have a job supervisor for the police?
Yes, we do. Not a job supervisor, but it's someone who's overseeing
A
the
project
project manager.
Project manager?
Who's
Is he
one
full-time?
class above a clerk of the works.
Is he full-time?
Yes, absolutely.
Because every time I go to the job site, I can't find him. And I have questions for him to ask. And he's not there, they take him off.
Well, obviously, someone who's overseeing the project doesn't have to be there every minute. I mean, they're there at different times. They check the work.
$7,000 a day.
It's not just him, it's the organization, and it's the whole, we miss you on Thursday.
But I'm just, I'm having problems talking. I talked to Paul about it, gave me the number to call him, and I've been to the job site like 5 times, they haven't been there.
Do they call you back, or
Well, if he did, I get the number.
long list of messages on your machine?
I'm not saying
No,
he's
no,
not
no.
there, it's just that maybe he needs to, certain time he gives him schedule he's gonna be there, because he knows that we're coming down to see it.
All right. Well, see if you can make contact with them one more time on your own by telephone. If not, then let me know. We'll certainly expedite it for you.
I think, Paul gave me his number, I called his number.
Mr. Smith, how, in terms of the length of time you've been trying, because I met with them on this past Thursday, and I was of the understanding you had made a number of referrals to them as potential candidates.
I sent them, maybe 8 people that I knew who qualified to work. They were told to work at the start.
Because I got the impression that they were, when I say pretty recent, within the last month or so, referrals that you had made. I guess I'm just curious in terms of, how long in terms of you not being able to make contact with them in terms of making the referrals. Or you just sent the people just went down.
I've been there myself on 6, 7 times. I've sent people there for the last 3 weeks. I don't know if they saw the supervisor, the manager. They did speak to somebody. But to this day, we haven't had a person hired in the job, and they say they're not working. And
there's different contractors that are doing different things. I don't know who's, I don't know.
Yeah,
what they're
there's
doing.
5 contractors.
Well, the general contractor is the one doing the
Right.
framing and stuff. That's, let me stick with it. He haven't done anything he said he's gonna do as far as hiring knowledge from the community. I've sent him people that I know, and not counting people that walked in on the one that came to me and said, oh, I put an application, they said we're gonna start hiring next week, and every week is next week. And now they're doing, I know that they're good to go inside, they're doing, framing. And every time I talk to them, they say we're gonna start next week. So by, at the end of the job, they'll hire a guy going after 2 weeks to satisfy what they say they're gonna do. I think it's right. They made a commitment early on to get people involved in work that never done that.
Mr. Smith,
Screaming about it.
if maybe we ought to coordinate, because when I was down there, and I'm sorry we missed you that Thursday morning. It was my understanding that there has been a couple people from Austin being hired on the site. And I got a chance to talk to Eric when I was there, and I did the tour, and I got a chance that a couple people was hired. So what I would like you to, perhaps maybe you and I can touch base and schedule a date where the two of us can go down there and maybe coordinate the service, because I think having people just walk in, we need to have some kind of control over in terms of coordinating what time the people are scheduled to come. And if they just walk in, there are many people in and out of the trailer, so we probably need to meet with Eric and hopefully get some time where we can identify people.
My thing is, I'm not looking for them to hire somebody I sent. I just send people to make sure I have people going
Yeah,
there
I
who's
understand.
qualified.
Understand.
So I don't want them to hire people, I just want somebody to be hired. I know that at least 20 people put applications, at least 20.
You just said people have been hired.
That's right.
It's when I was down there, it's my understanding a number of people from Austin has been hired.
Did you meet them, or did you see them?
They pointed at a couple of the workers, yeah.
That was,
There were a couple of Hispanics that they did hire from the community, my understanding.
They had people working there from day one. And I inquired from the workers, where they were from, how much they were making, these people taking off the job. So I don't know if they have, who they have working. One thing I know is that we don't have any black people working on it. And I say minority, I don't know, black, whatever. But basically, I'm gonna see a couple of them that were saying that. We were told it was gonna be that. People that lives in that community were gonna be hired, and they haven't done it. You said I missed the meeting Thursday. I was told when I went to their office that they were gonna schedule a meeting with George Thornton, yourself, and somebody else, and they would let me know. They never called me. They never let me know they were having me, so I wasn't there. I didn't know. It's just, and every time you ask a question, it's pushed to the next level. So I'm looking to the village board to say to you, you told us that you would do everything to include, when you could, people that could work on that site. We haven't. What do you do?
Well, as Ernest points out, they apparently have hired several, but in any event, does it sound like a plan that you and Ernest could get together and make an appointment and go down?
Yeah, because they meet every Thursday, and they've invited me to stop in periodically, and I would love to talk to Eric and schedule a meeting where the two of us can perhaps attend one of these meetings and get a full report on who have been hired from Austin, because I was given the information that we have hired some local residents on the project.
If they hire me, let's work at another site. Okay? I'm not saying they haven't hired me. On this site, I've been there every day. If I didn't see them, I'd just walk in the door and see who's working.
and can I ask a question? How come he can walk into an active construction site in the middle of it? Isn't there liability here or something? I mean, I know I couldn't walk in there.
You absolutely can't. One of the things.
Oh, you can? I don't think so.
technically you're trespassed as well.
One of the things that they said early on was that they were going to include one way to
Right.
the only way to.
Okay, well, I think we've reached a point where if you and Ernest get together and, certainly I'm sure you went to somebody and asked permission to go on the site, I would assume.
Well, they have
Yeah.
the office on this.
Right.
In order to go and apply for the job, they have to go.
Absolutely.
You
Okay.
just said you went into the building with
Oh,
him.
yeah. I go.
That's what I'm talking about.
One of the things we discussed was that I didn't want to come to the building and see what was going on. I mean, we discussed that with the project manager and with the contractor. I can't, if you close the door, if you're working, I don't know if you have to know.
Right. Okay, well, in any event, you're gonna be meeting with Ernest and try to attend one of these Thursday meetings. That's the plan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
My other question is,
Mr. Schill, tell us something.
I know when they were talking about, in the contract, they were talking about the contractor having $300,000 for community organizations, that they were going to do a grant, and those names are kind of, a contract.
I missed-
What are you talking?
Huh?
I'd start again, I apologize, I missed,
When they were discussing the contract for the waterfront code,
right.
included in the contract was that the developer was going to have a $300,000 grant to go to community organizations and those names.
No,
I don't think so.
no.
There was a $250,000 fund,
Seed grant.
seed grant, yeah, thank you,
For downtown
for
redevelopment.
downtown redevelopment.
But then it was changed because I think.
No,
No,
never
that's the way it
changed.
always
No,
was.
that's
Never been earmarked to any particular agency. It's been
Mr.
to the
Barnes, there's
village.
nothing that's, okay.
So it's been a $250,000 fund for downtown redevelopment.
Now, granted, people could take advantage of that 250,000 or a segment, I guess, maybe Mr. Shu can explain it better. But I'm sure that that seed grant would, eventually become available for people to take advantage of it. But there was no specific.
No, it's,
Not
It could be
groups,
available to
no.
landowners who may want to
Yeah,
rehab their
absolutely,
building at a
yeah,
low
but
cost.
Right.
not specifically earmarked for groups.
I think that this was just thought is if there's a sponsorship of the event or something like that.
Now, when I was in when we had a meeting this one, the lawyer was going over the critical case. He said that it included was $200,000 or $300,000 for local community organizations.
No.
And it was no stranger. I don't know if it's.
Never.
I'm sorry, I don't think there was anything in that. Not on that score.
and just as a clarification, the attorney, and please correct me since I wasn't here, the attorney you're speaking of is not Mr. Capelli's attorney, he is our attorney.
But he works for
Mr.
Mr.
Zarin.
Capelli.
Works for us.
No,
Zarin? Oh, no, he works for us.
Mr. Zarin works for us.
He's always
We
not.
pay him
He is
directly.
working on the Capelli project, but he is our
He's not-
attorney.
Could I, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sure.
Is that, because there was something on the previous one that I think.
No, because I know that it's funds going to Market Square, from Capelli,
There is?
to sponsor events there.
Yes,
He gave
they're
some
for
money for a
concerts.
concert.
A few hundred, it's a very small amount of money. Several, actually, all the concerts at Market Square this year will be sponsored by the
Yeah,
private.
it's not on the $250,000 redevelopment seed money.
That's a voluntary thing.
Contribution.
And there were a number, if I remember, organizations that co-sponsored
Oh, yes,
those
the bank,
events.
the bank did too. Couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was some of the money out of it.
No.
No, he just,
That was just,
well, I don't blame you, maybe send him a fundraising letter.
Yeah, I was just trying to see.
But that's essentially what happened, the Market Square Committee
Went directly.
went directly to him, and they went to other banks, and we tried to get
Danny's
the
Cafe was one
concerts,
too, wasn't
yeah,
it?
Danny's
Seed
Cafe,
Cafe,
it was
Citibank.
several others too,
Yeah,
that
there
were
was about- there was
co-sponsoring.
about five, I
They've
think.
we've almost raised enough money, we have a special account set up now with the
That's what they're
Actions
raising
Appropriation
every
Department
season.
account, so that we've almost covered the cost of the concerts, if not totally covered it, with the private sector, just because we need enough money for other things, keep that Market Square going.
Might I suggest,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
The first issue with Chief Burton, I think, and Sharon, put together after the meeting. It's been pretty vigorous. We can use continued help, I guess, to the actual.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish the privilege of the floor for any reason? No, you're reporting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Oh, aye, aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Okay.
Good night. We'll be back in 2 weeks.